they gain either directly or indirectly from the welfare. And there's the issue of contentment, that I become satisfied and I feel valued as a member of the institution. You imagine a situation where a member is visited by the welfare group and other members of the institution, in a sense, say you are installed as a chief or ensconced as a chief, and you have members in full attendance and being readily and properly identified, you see that there's that sense of satisfaction and you feel that you are valued by the institution. And so these are the things that we'll see will motivate members, to be more active in the institution's affairs. And then also, by prioritizing member welfare, we can foster positive environment, and then ultimately benefiting the institution as a whole. Because once members are benefited, members will contribute to what we do. I would be concluding, and let me say that together as members, as individuals, and as groups, as divisions, the 3-in-1 coming together, we build a stronger Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Welfare is not just a policy, it is part of our culture as we move it from the social-cultural environment into the institution. And I must say that we must continue to build a community where every member feels valued and supported. And the GhIS remains committed to member support and development. Let me say this, that I want to end by quoting from the Bible in Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 to 40. It says that, "For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer him, saying, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?" And the king will answer and say to them, "Assuredly, I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me." So let us be each other's keeper. And as the Bible has said, once we do it, our brother, we have done it to the Lord. Thank you very much, and for your attention, and also for the opportunity to share these views with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We truly have bishops in our institution. I'll call him Bishop, past President, Surveyor Bishop James Dadson. God bless you for delivery. It's been a wonderful session we've had with our two colleagues, and it's been wonderful. They've given us insight into the areas of who is a member in good standing, and then on welfare issues. We want to place the chat box is there. You can put your comments there. We'll make sure we read it. And then the opportunity has come now to ask questions. Your question can come from the speaker 1 or speaker 2. But if you're asking the questions, direct it. Make mention. You mention your name, you mention your name, and then who the question is going to. So please, the floor is open. Just raise your hand, or else, in fact, it's quite a tall list. So raise your hand, and then let's call you to ask your question. But if you want to speak, you can just come in, and then, because it's quite a tall list, and going through it will be a bit difficult. So just mention your name, and then. Okay. Let me read this from the chat box to start it off.
Hello.
Can I please
Hello?
read this?
Okay.
Hello. Hold on a bit.
Okay.
This is coming from Kingsley Agbito. He says, "I thank the institution and all those encouraging us to join the institute for this insightful webinar. I have learned a lot since I started signing on to the monthly CPDs and webinars since February. In some countries, you can't call yourself a QS unless backed by some form of certification by an authorized institution. This is for our beloved surveyor, Patrick Mireku. I want to find out in Ghana who is a quantity surveyor. Is the graduate student with a degree in quantity surveying qualified to identify him or herself as one? And then the third question is, what does the law say about this? Thank you. This question goes to Patrick, Surveyor Patrick Mireku.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the question is, who is a quantity surveyor in Ghana? A quantity surveyor in Ghana is someone who has achieved the requisite educational and professional qualification to practice quantity surveying in Ghana. However, a professional quantity surveyor in Ghana is that person who has been recognized by the professional association that recognizes the practice of surveying and quantity surveying in Ghana, pursuant to the Professional Bodies Registration Act 1973 and NRCD 143. So to the extent that there is a professional body that registers or regulates surveying in Ghana, and that's the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, then you ought to be a member of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors to call yourself a professional surveyor. And specific to the question, a professional quantity surveyor. So that's the distinction between a quantity surveyor and a professional quantity surveyor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. One more question for the chat box. Nelly Joyce Mensah says, thank you very much, PP. The last one from Beryl. She says, please, the money given as welfare benefit is so inadequate. Why are we not considering insurance so that it can be sizable? It can be sizable money for the member. Thank you. This goes to our second speaker.
Thank you very much. You see, as an institution, we never stop researching into options that will give us better results. Our society is dynamic, just as our institution, and so we always will look at the options and which one will give us the ultimate or optimum results. And so insurance is not off the thing, but for now, what we are practicing is a welfare policy. And so maybe insurance can come, we can discuss it at another level. But I thank you for that. I believe that the governing council will look at it and put in appropriate measures to see whether we can look at that window of insurance in addition to the welfare policy that we have. That's what I have to say on that.
Thank you very much. Can we hear from Surveyor Bernard Cosmas?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I thank Surveyor Mireku for the enlightenment regarding the member in good standing. In time past, many of us, our mind was that it's only about the dues, the membership dues that is being paid that make you a member in good standing. So thank you for the enlightenment. But one thing I wanted to clarify is that if somebody have not paid the dues for 2 years or so, but then does the other things, participate in CPDs and the rest, what does it take for the person to return back to be a member in good standing? Does that person need to clear the old amount, or maybe if he breaks for about 3-4 years, can just come and say, I'm reinstating myself, so I've been only that period? I want that to be clarified for us. Thank you very much.
Great.
Yes, so thank you very much. So yes, to the extent that you are not in good financial standing, so you have not paid your annual subscription in the past years, not in the ensuing year. Let's say, as you said, 4 years ago to date, you haven't, and your name has not been struck off from the role of members of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, then there's a window of opportunity to make good your financial standing. So you can pay all the arrears. The other issue, as determined by the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. In other words, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors reserve the right to make you pay the real value of the present value of your arrears as at the date of payments. And that is reserved to the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Without that computation, then you can pay all the arrears and be in good standing. But I must add that tying into the benefit of welfare, if you are not in good standing and then there's a wedding that makes you eligible for a benefit as of marriage, or there's some bereavement, as at the date that the event happened, you will not be eligible to apply. So these are some of the things that require members to be in good standing. It also states that Section 13 of the bylaw provides that all annual subscription shall be payable on the 1st January in each year in advance. So on or before 1st January, you ought to pay, or by such installments payable on such dates in such manner as regulations may prescribe. So there is an opportunity to even pay by installments once you apply to the institution to pay in that manner, And now that we have the websites online, every day and now, your status or your standing is very clear. And Regulation 1413, like I said, as soon as possible after 30th June, the Governing Council shall publish the names of fellows, professional members, member technicians, and corporate members in good standing. So if you fail to honor your subscription by 30th June, the Governing Council reserves the rights. Indeed, it says 1 month after the date that it falls due. So strictly speaking, even right after February, they can take steps to strike the name. Now, like I said, publication in the websites is good publication, and also publication in the dailies and other newspapers is also good publication. Also, the officer of the Registrar of Companies also requires that the institution, the professional body, ought to be in good standing, and also state the members of its professional body. So the window is open to make good your outstanding subscription and the present subscription. Because if you owe, say, 4 years and you pay off, you will still not be in good standing. So you need to pay the 4 years and the current year to be in good standing. And I must also state that those whose employers pay their subscription on behalf of them by virtue of the condition of service in the employer-employee relations that they have, their employers are not vicariously liable or responsible to pay for them in terms of what the Ghana institutions. And so, in other words, the requirement or obligation to pay subscription is not on the employer of a member of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. So, if for one reason or the other, an employer who has a condition of service with an employee who is a member of the Ghana Institution hasn't paid the annual subscription on or before 1st January, it is incumbent, and I would plead and advocate that the member pays his subscription himself, because that is his responsibility, not the employer's responsibility to pay. And if subsequently the employer pays the annual subscription thereafter, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors would refund the said amount if that member so applies for a refund. But then if the member wants to make the institution financially sound, it would also be very welcoming for that amount to be kept at the coffers of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors to prosecute its mandates. Thank you very much, Cosmos, and I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you very much, Surveyor Patrick Mireku. I'm just looking at the chat box, and I have two questions here. There are more, but two of them are linked to Surveyor PP Dadson. Let me ask the question. It says, is there a policy on professional indemnity insurance for members in good standing? And then, please, do these benefits cut across all membership classes? The first one came from Professor Peter Amwa, and the second one came from Fifi. If you can get a response to it, then we'll go to the next questions. Hello? Hello? I think the first
hello.
one,
Hello.
Yeah. It says, is there a policy on professional indemnity insurance for members in good standing? It's a two-in-one question that goes to both of you. And the second one says, please, do these benefits cut across all membership classes? All right, please.
Okay, so I think the second one is a straightforward thing. I mean, a member of the institution is a member of the institution. So, if there is any insurance indemnity policy, it applies whether you are a member, a technician member, or a professional member, or a fellow. I believe that in Ghana we have insurance, various types of insurance, including indemnity for professionals, and that should be on the individual level. So as an individual, you can opt for a professional indemnity insurance. I don't think that as an institution we have a wholesale indemnity for professionals in their professional practice or in their conduct, but you can always take it as an individual. Maybe this is something that we can look at. It will maybe look at areas of best practice and see how, if it applies, how we can import it into our system here in Ghana. But I know that as individual members, in all the three classes, you can have professional indemnity with any of the insurance companies.
Correct. Surveyor Emmanuel Ni Makwe Mati says, thank you, PP. Then Precious Senam Vigdo, forgive me, please. It says, please, what are the ranks in the profession? Then he says, Linda says, thank you, PP, and God bless you. So, Surveyor Mireku, you answer that. What are the ranks in the profession? And then another one says, if you are in Precious Vigbebo also says, if you are not in good standing and you want to acquire and be a member of RICS, does that disqualify you? Can you please answer this one before I ask the further questions?
Okay, so thank you very much. The ranks in the profession. First, I must say that we even have student members. That is, even if you have not graduated from any tertiary institution, you can be a student member once you are a student in a tertiary institution. Then we have trainee members, formerly called probationers. So everybody almost invariably will start as a trainee member. First of all, you have to apply, and then by virtue of the qualification that you have, you'll be given a 2-year period of training. or a 1-year period of training if you have a master's program of a relevant field. Now, Ghana Institution of Surveyors and Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors have a reciprocity policy that enables RICS members to be members of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Then we have the mature entry or direct entry. Then, so after admission, you either be a professional member or a technician member based on your level of, if you are first degree holder, then you move to the professional membership. If you are from formerly the polytechnics, which we don't have, but we have technical universities, then you'll be a technician members. Then if you are in good standing for a minimum of 10 years, you have paid your dues, attended CPD programs, conducted some social and corporate social responsibility, and in society, you have done things of repute, done some publication, made some presentation. There's a criteria for eligibility to be a fellow. Attended the divisional seminar and annual general meetings and all of that. You can apply to be a fellow, and then you'll be admitted to the highest office of a fellow. Then you can also submit yourself for appointment in as a divisional committee executive or member, and then an executive committee member or member of the governing council in each particular section, which would call for a vote at the annual general meeting. Then we have the practicing firms. So these are what I call corporate members, practicing firms. Then we have corporate members. So like Lands Commission is a corporate member, Get Fund is a corporate member, and all of that. So these, in my humble view, are the ranks of the profession, and the institution will recognize members for their hard work. Then we also even have honorary members. So, for instance, the late Vice President, if I recall, Aliu Mahama, was made an honorary member. There are some other members who might have made. So these are the ranks in the profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In the chat box, we have some more questions, so let me go through them. So I'll appeal to my presenters. I want to go through them. Then where you think it links to you, then we'll take it up. Else, if you want to take them one after the other, we will not close now. So the first question is, the name RG. Please, can we avoid using initials? Let's put your name there, then we'll all see who is asking the question. RG says, I would like to kindly inquire about the policy regarding annual subscription payments in situations where a member is temporarily out of employment, for instance, due to motherhood. In such circumstances, is the member still required to make full payment of the annual subscription, or are there provisions for deferment, waiver, or adjustment? Thank you. Another one says, from Surveyor Edward Answer, it says, good evening, Chair. Find a member section on the institution's website. I said, can I find a member section on the institution's website? Mostly shows members in good standing as not in good standing. Can this be resolved with the current data? It says, I find a member section on the institution's website, mostly showing members in good standing as not in good standing. Okay. Can this be resolved with the current data? Then another one says, for Emmanuel Boachi, I think if the bill is enacted, the institution can have a say in remuneration due to members with the construction companies and or consultancy firms in Ghana, at least a minimum figure or something nice. Can we have a response to this three before we go on?
Yes, sir. With the permission of PP, I'd like to say yes. So now the Ghana Institution of Surveyors have a concession to the subscription policy, and that includes members who are no longer in active service. So if you go to the website, you can see the Ghana Institution of Surveyors concession to subscription policy. And for members who are no longer in active work or working for remuneration of any kind, they may apply for this concession, and this concession for if you are no longer working is a 50% waiver of the annual subscription. But if you are retired, you are not available for work, then it's 100% concession. Then for ill health, there is a maximum of 100% waiver of annual subscription available to members who are currently unable to. And I must say that this concession is not as of right. It is by application. You need to apply for the concession. So as of as it's not automatic that because there are members who are 70, like good wine, as they grow, they more experience and they still work and get more jobs. In that regard, you are still eligible to pay your annual subscription as your ethical duty to the institution. So you need to apply every year for that concession. And concession, once granted, if you apply this year and you hadn't paid for the last 5 years, it will not be granted retrospectively. And it's for a year. So I would urge members to go onto the website and look at the concession terms and conditions and apply if they so wish.
Okay. All right. Somebody made a notice. Surveyor Edward answer. It says the institution's website mostly shows members in good standing as not in good standing. Can this be resolved with the current data?
Yes. I first of all, I must apologize for anybody who has paid his annual subscription and still it's indicating that he's not in good standing. So the Secretariat is working hard so that we have real-time change of status, so that a member would know his standing once he applies. So we are trying to ensure that the member services session and the IT session and the finance department work in tandem so that they have real-time uploading of membership in good standing. So it is ongoing, and we are making it better, and we are still screening the website every day to ensure that all of the glitches are eliminated as much as possible. It's work in progress, but I must say that the IT division has done well, and the institution is doing well to ensure that we have a good website and database for access. So I must apologize for that member, and do well to inform us so that we keep it as real as possible. And also, there's an automatic request to members who haven't paid. Those notifications would be given. So to the extent that you are not in good standing, once letters go to members or notification goes to members in good standing, it will go to you. If you haven't, do not only discard it, but however, inform the Secretariat so that the status is changed accordingly. Thank you very much. Then a member who said the bill, if enacted, will help our firms and members. Yes, I agree. So we should all advocate strongly to ensure that the bill is passed into law so that we have a legislation dedicated for the regulation of surveying practice in Ghana, and that would enhance enforcement, and that would rid charlatans who are practicing without being members of the institution and having no training after their educational qualification. So let us all advocate through our various members of parliament. Everybody has an MP, through the sector minister, that's the minister responsible lands and natural resources. Let us also urge our professional members who are equally members of parliament or in cabinet or in a high office of influence to ensure that this bill is passed into law to regulate surveying practice for the profession, for the individual, and for Ghana as a whole. Thank you very much.
All right, we have the final 3 more comments. The first one goes to you directly. The second one goes to Surveyor PP, and then the third one for both. The first one says, please, Surveyor Mireku, from Surveyor Emmanuel Boachi. It says, please, Surveyor Mireku, what is holding the Professional Surveyors Council Bill from being enacted? Are there any limitations? And if yes, what are those?
Yeah, thank you very much. Every bill in Parliament, there are procedures for bills to be passed into law, and then once the session, the 4-year session has passed, even if it had been late, they will have to start, and not passed, they would have to start the process again. But we were in the drafting stage. It went to the sector minister, and it's been reviewed. It's gone to the Attorney General. There's a joint committee between Lands Commission and the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. They've done their drafting. The Attorney General has accepted it generally, and it would be tabled back to cabinet. And then, because it is not a private member's bill, it will have to go through the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, and then tabled to Parliament to go through the plenary and all of that. So it is procedure that has caused the delay. And I believe that we should all do the advocacy to ensure, to let them know that it is very instructive to have legislation governing surveying practice in Ghana. So do not lose hope. It is a matter of procedure and practice, but delay is not denial. But I must say that it is very urgent so that we can regulate, we would have a body to regulate surveying in Ghana. And I would urge any trainee member or student to ensure that he submits himself for examination and be admitted as a professional member, so that when the bill is passed into law, their registration under the Surveying Council would be easier. So we need to put our house in order and ensure that the Surveying Council bill comes into law. So anybody who has a criticism should submit it constructively or submit it to the Ghana Institution of Surveyors for it to be considered and tabled to the office of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, as against bringing some works in the way, indicating a reason why the Surveying Council bill should not be passed into law. We accept every criticism, but let it be constructive, to sanitize the bill, because even the bill, after it has been submitted, Parliament, through your representative, will go through the session one by one. So like in building construction that we say a project is substantially complete, the bill is substantially complete. It doesn't mean that there are no T's to cross and I's to dots, but that should not be a showstopper. Let us focus on having a legislation, and there will be regulations to guide it and all of that. So we welcome any opinion, but we think that it should be concentric to the institution, or at best through Lands Commission, for it to be tabled to the minister, so that we don't have divergent opinion, which may jaundice the process of passing the bill to law. And we should resist any oppressor who would want to torpedo or stampede the process of the passage of the bill, Surveying Council bill, into Surveying Council law. So help us God.
Thank you very much. This one goes to Surveyor PP. Coming from somebody called Motorola. I don't know whether it is Samsung but I'll find out. Motorola. It says about the elderly of 70 years. How are they identified by the institution? If they are not well or they have to alert the institution. Surveyor PP.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, as I said, we have to be each other's keeper. And also, and that is the reason why we call for a strong database of members of the institution, so that you can always look at those who have crossed the 70-year mark and look at their current status or their current conditions. As Mireku said, somebody may be 70, but will still be in active employment. By the grace of God, he will still be strong. We have members like that. You see them up and about. But if we look into our own database critically, you will notice that, some members have not been seen for some time. And also, especially those who worked in institutions, say, for example, the Lands Commission, which has, I think, the largest number of our members. Once they are on retirement, through the current staff of the Lands Commission, we should be able to identify those who are in some critical condition. But you see, like how we do in our practice, we also need to employ preventive measures. You don't have to wait until the person is totally gone off before we visit the person. Say, for example, you go and visit somebody who can't even drink milk or take any provisions, and then you carry all these things to the person. That those who care for him may take it, fine, this is good. But the person himself will not directly benefit from this. So it's important that the welfare committee looks at our database and always update it and always check out those who are, first of all, those who are beyond the age of 70, and then also look within even those below 70, what is their condition? You see, so it is their responsibility to ensure that this, every time we check on our members, we may not get this in 100%, and there may be so many of them, but at least if we are able to visit some of them, as they always say, if I owe you 10 cedis and I pay 1 cedi, it's no longer 10, it is now 9 cedis. So it's important that we visit some of these members and we administer the benefits to these members, so that if we go to some forum and somebody says that, this person or these people have been neglected, we can respond by saying that, yes, we will get to their 10. But meanwhile, over the period, we have been able to visit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members. Okay, rather than saying that, we are preparing to visit or we don't know where they are. Our membership, and as you said, the regions that we have regional representatives. The regional representatives are not there only for active members. They are there also to ensure that people who have retired and gone to settle in all areas of the country, it should be possible to look out for these people and visit them. It is not always that we have to carry something to give to these people. So my appeal and my response to this issue is that the Secretariat must have a very good and functional database of our human resources as far as membership is concerned, so that we can always interrogate and know the state of everybody, whether the person is well or not, so that we can visit them and administer whatever welfare packages that are there. So that will be my response to that question.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So Vice, if I may add to Surveyor PP, yes, he said not only the elderly, we should even look at the young surveyors. Sometimes you have these young surveyors after training and they do well to be admitted, and thereafter, if you look at the trend, they haven't paid. Sometimes they haven't been into any gainful employment to have revenues to discharge their annual subscription. I think that in the spirit of what PP has said, we should be our brother's keeper particularly for our young surveyors, and more or less be some anonymous donors or pay for our fellow surveyors, not only even young surveyors. There are surveyors who are middle-aged and the socioeconomic situation at a time T hasn't made it possible for them to pay. Now you have the website, you see it, and then you pay. You see maybe your loved one or your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend who is a member has not been able to pay, and you can do well to show your love by paying the person's subscription so that that person will be in good standing for him to be eligible to practice surveying in Ghana without any impeachment by any member of the public. So let's just try and ensure. And in doing that, we are also contributing to the financial standing of the institution so that we can discharge our mandates as required by the Constitution. So let us try, and then as we go, just go to the website, check our professional members, 620 cedis. You can have some 3,000 cedis, and I believe you'll be able to pay for, say, 3 or 4 members. It is fine. Some particular technician members, you pay for them, and it would ginger them up to get back into the institution, So that is my humble appeal to all of us, to be our brother's keeper in terms of the financial standing of each other. And you may be surprised that members may even reimburse you if they get to know that you have paid their subscription. Some of them don't even check the website or don't even care about their financial standing. People are multi-professionals, so their leanings may be to another profession. But if we reach out to them and then even go the extra mile, paying for them and informing them, it might reinvigorate them to get back to the institution. Thank you very much.
All right. I want to ask the last question. Please, members, don't put questions again in the chat box because I will not read them. And our members are always available. If you have any pertinent questions, you can call on them and then they will respond. The last question goes to Surveyor PP. That is coming from Surveyor Stephen Nomo. He says, thank you so much for the presentation. Please, at what level do a member receive benefit from the welfare in case of any event?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think in the presentation, we stated the various categories and the various conditions, including where the circumstances will require some kind of specialized package or treatment for the member. So we have the various categories. We have the birth and the death and marriage, and even when you are installed as a chief or chief or enskin as a chief, all of these categories are in the welfare package. And I will really recommend that members acquaint themselves with the content of the welfare package so that we will know exactly as and when. It may not necessarily be you, but maybe a colleague who may be in need will benefit. And let me also emphasize that it is very important. We all saw what happened to those who died in the helicopter crash the other day. If they had lived their normal life and they had passed, I don't think that the state would have done what the state did. So you see, under the circumstances, we saw what happened. So in the same vein, within our institution, a certain situation may arise that will require that the welfare and indeed the entire institution will have to go think outside the box and look at the particular situation and see how we can mobilize all members to come in and support the member. And so we have the categories there, and we also have the situation where if the member finds himself outside of these categories, the welfare committee can look at it and make the necessary consultations. If it's about health, doctors can be health personnel can be consulted, and then with the appropriate recommendations, we'll take the needed action. If, for example, you're entitled to 2,000 cedis, but under the circumstances of this particular situation, we may require more funds, we can make an appeal and say this person needs, say, 10,000 cedis, and we'll put it together for the person. So it is not something that we strictly apply the regulations. We also make room for situations other than the normal situation that a member will find himself in. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much, Surveyor PP and Surveyor Patrick. Surveyor Brad Ativo says, God bless you, presenters, for this enlightenment. And then, no, sorry, that one's coming from Surveyor Godfred Bedu. He says, God bless you, presenters, for this enlightenment. Can we just a minute to give us your final words? Just a minute, Surveyor Patrick, can you go first? A minute for your final words.
Yeah, thank you very much for your attention and your contribution. Indeed, it's clear that we are all up to speed with our responsibilities, and we would be exacted rights when we are in good standing better. So it's my humble advocacy and prayer to you that right after this meeting, get onto the official website, www.ghis.org.gh, and check your standing. If you've paid your subscription and it's reflecting not in good standing, prompt us to amend that status. But if indeed you are not in good standing by virtue of not paying, do well to be in good standing. Lend the support to your brother or sister who, for one reason or the other, is unable to pay his subscription, and also assess this concession to subscription policy if you find yourself eligible and unable to pay, and we would attend to that application. On this note, I'd like to thank you. Let us make the institution great and strong by being in good standing, both financial and ethical. Most grateful.
Thank you very much for your final words. Surveyor PP.
Thank you. First of all, let me say once again that I'm grateful for this opportunity that has been given to me to interact with members of the institution. My concluding remarks will be that each one of us should see himself as a member of the welfare committee, that we should try and be our brother's keeper. We all have classmates. We all have colleagues that we work with in offices. Let us make sure that occasionally we check on them, to check on their status. As I said, somebody may be fit and may not require any kind of support, but just a visit for a chat will go a long way to lift up the spirit of such a person. So let's do it for everybody. Let's be each other's keeper. Once you notice something, just as they say, you notice something, say something. You can report to the institution that I have seen this member and I know that this member lives here. Can we take it up and visit that member? Then all of us together are building one welfare constituency so that we will be effective as far as our welfare issues are concerned. Let us do it for one another. Let us support each other. And as Patrick said, if it means that you have the financial resources to be able to support somebody by way of the subscription, please don't hesitate. Go ahead and do it. I thank you all, and I wish everybody a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. On behalf of Governing Council and the CPD committee, we want to extend our greatest thanks to our two presenters, Surveyor Patrick Mireku Esquire, and then Surveyor PP James Dadson. It's been a wonderful session, and we want to thank you very, very much for making time. it's not easy letting your senior colleagues be awake at this time after a long day's work, but we believe they are always with us and they've always committed themselves to the institution. We want to thank you once again for our time. Members, we will be having our next CPD in September, on the 17th of September, and it's going to be an interesting topic. You see, government come, government go. And when there's a government in power, whatever is pertaining, we all have to eat ourselves into it, because no matter what, we are in the system. So we're going to have a very interesting topic on the 17th of September that goes by the role of the surveyor in the 24-hour economy. Very, very interesting. So let's prepare ourselves for that Wednesday, same time on this platform. And I believe that we'll all be part of any economy that comes, whether it's 30, 36 hours, whatever it is. This is the 24-hour economy that has come. This is not politics, but the fact that this is a government project, all of us should be part, because surveyors, we are surveyors all around. We are not limited to where we are. So let us expose ourselves. We will have more insights and see where we can fit ourselves. So once again, thank you very much for making time this evening. Let's all prepare. The seminars, the conference are coming up. LSD is coming up next week. VS will come in September in Akosombo. Then QS will still go to Cape Coast. LS is going to Cape Coast. So let's all prepare ourselves for the upcoming activities. Thank you very much. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for bringing us to the successful end of this session. We thank you for the insights. We thank you for the knowledge, the education we've received. We pray that God, may you enthuse us, oh Lord, to enter into all these sessions, that we will become better members of the GhIS. Continue to bless us day in and day out as we go to bed. May you be with us, take us to bed, wake us up tomorrow morning, prepare us for our various works. Thank you, O Lord, for answered prayer. Amen.
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 I wish you a good night.
Amen.
Good night.
Amen. Good night.
Amen. So, Gustav, can you end the recording?
What's your name?